Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to do a quick Fellowship Friday for everyone. Today is Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day to all of you who have served in the past or are currently serving. Thank you so much for that. I would like to give a special shout out to my son, who he was in the Air Force for 3 years, and my dad, who served in Vietnam. Thank you so much for your service. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about timing in your career. I got some coffee brewing over beside me, and I just this was laid on my heart, so I just want to go over a few things with you. So, you've heard it said that timing is everything, and that is so true. And I was thinking about doing this episode yesterday, and I had already started getting the outline laid out, and then I heard a Stephanie Gass episode. She is a podcaster, and she was talking about timing, and it's just so funny how he does that. Like, God will put something in your head and then he'll reaffirm it with something else just to make sure that you get the message. And so that affirmed that this is the message I need to put out for you guys today. So when we're talking about timing, we want to think that not everything is on our timeline. And I've said that before. My timeline is not God's timeline, and his timeline is not always my timeline. And sometimes his timeline is a little bit slower than mine. And he has much more insight and a much better reason for slowing me down than I have in my head or what I can see. And so I have to always ground myself in the fact that just because things are not happening as quickly as I want them to, or on the timeline that I hope they would happen, that's okay. He has a reason for that, and he sees the big picture, and I do not. And I just need to learn to live in his time and live in every moment that he has for me. And this includes growing my career or my podcasting business. I started recording episodes just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm loving it. And the content is coming so easily for me. He's just like showing me everything that he wants me to say. And I started a podcast probably 3 years ago, right before COVID, actually. And I had to put that away because I was working on my doctorate degree. And when you're working on a doctorate degree, you don't have time to do anything else but work on your doctorate degree, especially if you want to get down on a really good timeline and you want to finish without having to pay extra money. And so that's kind of where I was at. I was like right down to crunch time, finishing that up. And I'm like, I can't do anything else. So that was my complete focus. So I put that away, but I love it. And so I just really wanted to get back to that. And so this happened. Like, I came across something that led me to another podcast about podcasting. It was the Stephanie Gass show. And that was it for me. Like, I was hooked. And so that is where God wanted me to be. And I had to really do some reflecting and spend some time with God and talk to him. I listened to devotionals. So while you're waiting to know what he is telling you to do, you have to dig deep. You have to spend time with him in prayer and in his word. And so find some devotionals that you want to listen to that will help guide you, and pray fervently, my friend. Do not pray, because he opens your mind and your heart to things that you are not going to hear or you're not going to think about if you're not in the word with him. And then keep a prayer journal. I'm really bad about this, by the way, but it's a great idea. And I do try to write things down. It's not necessarily a prayer journal, but I do write down things that I hear in my devotionals that I am listening to, which is on the YouVersion app, by the way. It's a great app. And if you have not found that yet, you need to. There are so many devotionals. They have a daily devotional that they post. Plus, you can just search all of the older devotionals that they've put on there. And it's a great way to start your day with God. And then make sure that you are aligning your interests with your gifts and talents. I've mentioned before to take a spiritual gifts test, and they have some online ones that you can take really quickly, and you can just see what your gifts are that he has given to you. And then you can write down your interests, and you can see where your gifts and your interests mesh. And then you can pray about that and have him lead you to whatever your calling is based on your interest and your gifts and where he wants you to go. Proverbs 3:5-6, one of my favorite verses, says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. Just lean on him, friends, and he will show you what path to take. It won't be a crooked, curvy path. He will lead you on a journey down a path that you could never imagine, and you will grow so much as you are walking with him on this path. Which leads me to my next point, grow your skills. Whatever it is that you want to do, figure out how to do it by growing yourself and how to get better at it. So podcasting, when I started my first podcast, I had no clue how to start a podcast. So I Googled everything and I taught myself what to do. I would listen to videos. I would watch videos on YouTube, and I would listen to other podcasts and see how they did intros. And I Googled things and I found out how to use Buzzsprout. And of course, Buzzsprout gives you so much great information on podcasting. It's a podcasting host. I also am doing instructional design on the side, and that helps mesh my skills as an educator with my love of using technology and creating graphics. When I discovered the world of instructional design, I had no clue how to be an instructional designer. So I found an online course and I took that to grow my skills. After you grow your skills, you need to be ready to act. So I grew my skills as an instructional designer, and I've grown my skills as a podcaster. And when God told me it was time, I was ready to go. And then last, my friends, you have to trust God. He is always working for your good. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." He has called you, my friend. He has given you a purpose. You just simply have to be ready when he tells you to act, my friend. I hope you've enjoyed this Fellowship Friday episode. I can't wait to see you back here Monday when I go into part 2 of Define Your Destiny and Plan Your Passion into Action, where you will be creating the mission for your online business. Please follow me on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And while you're on Apple Podcasts, please leave me a review and a 5-star rating so that I can get noticed and grow my show. Have a great, wonderful, and blessed day, my friend. See you Monday.